What's going on, guys? For those of you who have no clue who I am, my name is Dom. I'm the lead vocalist, lead guitar player for the band After All. And this is a new type of video that I wanted to do personally. And basically what I want to do is go through and break down a lot of the songs that we have done. I feel like it would be a really good way for me to connect with all of you guys at home, as well as kind of share from a musician standpoint why we did some of the things we did on the song, and also to share kind of the timeline of how things go. You know, basically from the song's conception to when it was released and everything after. And I don't know, I think it'd be cool for you guys. I know for me as a listener, I like to understand how things were done. So I like to get that more personal touch from the musician. It's always cool to kind of see more behind the scenes of what went into making a song. And I think this would be a cool thing. So this one, I'm gonna start off with the Encore. You know, the one we just released a few months ago now. Probably by the time this video comes out, it'll be a few months. And I wanna talk about, kind of like what I just said. I wanna talk about where the song came from, how it was developed, and really what led into it. Because that song, the Encore for us was like a huge step forward. The Encore was our moment it was like our aha moment when we started this out. Because, we had released Lonely Road to Hell, Picture Perfect Life, Catharsis, Lost and Found, all that stuff. And like, it was great, but we kind of understood that we were just writing songs with no purpose. And for those of you that don't know, I was never originally the singer of this project. Me and Tyler formed this together. We branched off from another band we were in, and I was absolutely fucking terrified to be a singer. Even doing a video like this would have been fucking far-fetched 3 years ago. And so it's really cool to see how far I have come personally and how far this project has come and where we are today versus where we were. But, we had released these 4 songs, and we were really nervous for everything. We really had no direction. We didn't know what we wanted to do, and life kind of gave us a direction, because at that, we released Catharsis and we were about to ride that high. We had just paid a shit ton of money for marketing stuff, and then life happened. And I'm not gonna go into full detail of what happened. It's not my liberty to say that. But basically, life happened. We had to take a small hiatus. And by a small hiatus, I mean we were pretty absent on social media for the better part of a year. But that's just to the public eye. The hiatus was we were still doing stuff when we could, but it wasn't as frequent as we would like it to be. And I think that really helped us. That small hiatus is what drove us to make something so fucking perfect, in our opinion. We needed direction, and so while we were on this hiatus, I was still writing and recording music, and one thing led to another. I was still looking to push this band in the direction I thought it needed to go while everything else was going on. I remember the first time Tyler and I had gotten together, I had come up with the very first iteration of the Encore, and it sounded nothing like what it does now. It was a very pop punk style song, and it was really nothing that fucking special. And I had spent a lot of, mind you, at this point, this was like in the tail end of 2023. I was like still figuring out how to produce, figure out how to mix, figure out how to record. Like, I was still new to this DIY kind of bullshit that comes with writing music. So finally, Tyler comes over. I was super excited to show him this. I hadn't really showed him much of anything. He took one listen to it, basically ripped it apart. He's like, yeah, it's cool. I don't think it's our song, but this ending part, which I'll show you guys here in a minute, is exactly what it needs to be. And he was only here for like an hour, and like when he left, I was like, man, fuck this. What the fuck's this guy know? We haven't talked in months. Fuck this piece of shit. And ultimately, he was right. And that was kind of, that's a good thing I like to share with new coming bands who want to do this, is like, there is something to say about leaving your fucking ego at the door, and that's something that we do a lot of. Like, behind the scenes, like, I'll shit on his stuff, he'll shit on mine, but like, it's all within the best intentions. Like, we all want what's best for the band, and egos get left at the door. And, you know, I had to leave my ego, and I tried it, because that's kind of our method in this band, is if one of us comes up with an idea, prove it. You know, prove that it won't work, or prove that it does work. That's kind of our thing. Like, there's no bad ideas. We just have to try and experiment with everything. So that's what we did. That's what I did. And out of entire spite, I was, you know, it was, again, like a fuck you kind of moment to him. I sent him the Encore, and the rest is history. That was it. And the cool thing about the Encore was that it was, like I said at the beginning, our aha moment. It was the moment that we found our identity as a band. It was the foundation and the building block of every single song that came after it. That set the new standard of quality and everything that comes into songwriting. And if we didn't write the Encore, who the fuck knows what would have happened. So it's really cool. You know, the Encore of the set of songs we're about to release is by far not the best, but it's a great song. But the reason it's not the best is because it was the foundation of everything that came. Like, that song set the bar so high for every fucking song going forward. And that's that. So now I want to get into breaking down all that shit. All right. So it's not much, but this, where we started. This was the first full-length bounce that I had sent to Tyler. And as you can see, it's called MCR-esque. That is because this song this version of the song was heavily inspired by My Chemical Romance. Which is cool. I love them. But again, this is where that pop punk direction I was taking. I thought the project wanted to go, but it didn't. So yeah, I'm going to play this all the way through and kind of make some notes, but you'll kind of get a feel for what happened here. So I'm just going to let this play. So I'm gonna stop it here because I want to make a note. So you heard that is kind of what would be the chorus of that, and don't get me wrong, it's a fucking killer chorus. I still might use that for some of my solo stuff. I'm not sure yet, but like right off rip, this is a very heavy hitting song. It's fast paced, it's energetic, and like it's something I thought the band needed. We didn't really have, other than Picture Perfect Life, we didn't really have that song that was just fucking in your face the entire time. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted something that was people could dance to, people could bop their head to, all that shit. So I'm gonna let this play out again and talk more about the verse when it's over. I think I'll go back a little bit. So yeah, that was the verse. I mean, nothing really to it. I mean, that verse is pretty straightforward. That verse is what was inspired by kind of like the My Chemical Romance kind of stuff. I actually think it was almost too similar in my opinion to The Sharpest Lives by My Chem, which I'm kind of glad we strayed away from, because I don't ever want to be that band that somebody listens to and immediately recognizes the sound as somebody else's. I want to be true to my own fucking identity. So, and then I think with this, it goes right back into the chorus. Yeah. Yeah, so same chorus, really catchy. All right, so that's the end of that. Let me see if I have, man, where the fuck did my shit go? There we go. So this, you know, I'm a big, as you know, let me backtrack a little bit. I said earlier in the video that I'm the lead guitarist for this band. On top of being afraid to be a fucking singer and just be in front of everybody to begin with, I was also absolutely fucking terrified to be a shredding guitar player, because even though I had played guitar for 20 fucking years, I like to call myself like a closeted musician for many years. I would play and I'd tell people I'd play, but nobody ever saw me play. Because I just had bad stage fright, like, and just performances in general scared the fuck out of me. And then when Tyler and I formed this project, I felt comfortable enough around Tyler to start shredding and being that guy, you know what I'm saying? I became that fucking guy. So this was the solo I did for that version. My God, I'm not even exaggerating. I think it's the best solo I've ever written. It's so fucking catchy. It just fits the song perfectly. So yeah, this is the solo I did for the Encore, aka MCR-esque. So yeah, that was the solo. Very shreddy, obviously a little bit of Van Halen inspired with the tap in there. But that was that. That was the solo. Really fucking cool. I love that solo. It's still one of my favorite solos I've ever written. Now is where we get into, I think this is it, the full original song that eventually developed into what we all know and love as the Encore. Here we go. This is it. MCROJ. This was written, or I should say this was bounced on May 14th of 2024. As you can see, I like to date my stuff. I'm very organized. Tyler makes fun of me for it. But anyway, this was the bounce that I showed Tyler that he absolutely fucking tore apart. Not really. He just said, the ending part here needs to be the main chorus of the song. So, I'm gonna shut my mouth. I'm gonna let this play. I'm not gonna play the whole song because you've already heard the majority of it, but I'll play the intro, play the first verse, play the, and then I'll skip to the very ending after where, you'll notice it immediately. Alright, so yeah, that's the same first verse, first chorus you heard before. Then we get to the ending here. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna let it play from right here, and all of you who have heard the encore and are watching this video, you will immediately be able to tell where the encore came from, because the ending of this ended up being the main sound of the encore. So here you go. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? So yeah, that's what I showed Tyler. He came over, liked the song obviously, but he said that that last little chorus after the solo is what should be the entire song. And again, like I said at the beginning of the video, out of spite, entirely out of spite, I was so fucking mad when he left that I wrote the encore. All right, here. You can't see that, can you? Hold on. Bah! There we go. This is the Logic file. Hopefully I don't have stuff. Okay. Let me clean this up so it's a little bit easier to fucking understand. So this is the Logic file. This is where we develop all of our shit. This is where all of the demos I write and produce go to. This is what we do everything in. But I'm not gonna play through the encore because you should have listened to it. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's gonna be right, oh yeah, right there. There's gonna be a button right there for it. So click that button, go listen to the encore. Do yourself a favor, go like the song, save it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what you do. Do whatever you want. The big thing that changed from the original, I should say, the second iteration of the encore to what you hear on Spotify and Apple Music is the bridge. The bridge is entirely different from what you're used to. So, I mean, so this was where this is what the bridge used to sound like. That was the original bridge. Obviously, instrumentally, everything was kind of the same. I think the only difference is that tick-tock sound, clock sound in the background is gone, and also a couple other random sound effects. But for the most part, that stayed the same. So yeah, this is the encore. This is the final version of our demo that we did, that I had sent out to Austin to produce it. And then a couple times we went over to Austin's, did our mixing sessions, did our production sessions, and one thing led to another, and the encore was done. I don't know what else to really go into. Again, this is an old template, so I'm not going to go into that. I might do a video kind of running down what I do now. You know, it's but it's 2026. Obviously, as I've grown as a musician and grown in this industry, I've obviously spent a lot more money to get some better equipment, get some better plugins, get some better tools so that I and Tyler and Austin can kick out some really good demos. And it allows us all to be on the same page because the equipment that I have is pretty much the same equipment that Tyler has, and Austin has the same equipment, just way better, because that's just who he is. But be on the lookout. If you like this video, let me know. If you like this style of content, I don't fucking know. I'm not a content creator. I am a musician who just so happens to have to do content creation on the side. It's not my first choice. If there's one thing I enjoy doing, it's talking about my creations and the art that we create as a band. I love talking about the band. I love talking about the projects we do. I love talking about the process of everything we do. So by all means, if you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment. I don't give a shit what you do, to be honest. I'm just here to enjoy it. I'm trying to enjoy this just as much as you guys are. I'm not trying to be selly. I'm not trying to be pushy. I just want to get to know you, just like you want to get to know me. And I feel like this is the best way for me to be able to share some insight to my life and my process so I can connect better with you guys as fans. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.